Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hello Day with Down-to-Earth Astronomy. We're gonna start this week off with the TEAC news. This has been a relatively quiet week in TEAC. We are really just, consolidating our systems. We're making sure that everything is nice and balanced as we wanted. There's been quite a few conflicts in our little sphere of influence, not necessarily with TEAC themselves, but some of the other factions in system. And part of BGS, of course, is that we not only manage our own faction, but the system that we control, we also try to manage the other factions in our system to make sure that it's nice and stable. Everything is laid out the way that we want. Make sure that people who own the stations that we want to own the certain stations. And that also means that when a conflict eventually pops up, if that potentially moves things around in a way that we don't deem favorable, we'll of course go in and we will begin to work that. And that's a lot of the stuff that's been going on. So while it's been a quiet week in terms of progression for expansion and taking over systems, these periods where we go in and we consolidate our area, we make sure everything is nice and tidy where we want it to be, is super important in order to keep our areas safe and in order for us to be able to maintain them. And it may sound boring on the surface, but this has been a lot of combat. There's been a lot of conflict zones, been a lot of shooting going on. So I actually thought these periods are actually some of the most interesting and fun. So it's been a good week. We made some really good progress. Again, huge thank you to all you guys. I know you're putting in a huge amount of effort. And hopefully, with fingers crossed, we are moving some systems around. As you can see from if you've been following the daily orders, some of the systems are rather large. We're looking at a 2 billion people population, and the larger the systems are, the harder they are to move, the more work it requires. So these big systems, they take a lot of effort to move. And that's also why things are progressing a little slow at the moment. But hopefully, exciting times should be ahead. Also in Elite, we are expecting Update 8 to hit this week. And of course, with Update 8, we get emotes for our characters. We get Odyssey engineers in Colonia, which I'm very much looking forward to. Should be quite interesting. And also, we get megaship interiors. So now we can begin to actually walk around inside the megaships, which should be quite fun. And with the Colonia bridge being built, it should also be a nice little thing for explorers to go out and visit and have a look at. It's not 100% certain whether it's going to be this week or not, but Frontier kind of hinted at saying that they were planning for it to try and hit a published Update 8 this week, unless something got in the way, which of course it can, always a risk of that. But at least plan is, at the time of this recording, the plan is still to update the game to Update 8 this week. Exactly when, we don't know, but my guess is probably Thursday, but we'll see. Now, there is another topic that I really wanted to talk about, because this is potentially a very, very big problem, both in Elite Odyssey right now, but it's potentially going to be an even bigger problem for the console launch of Odyssey. And this has nothing to do with performance. This has nothing to do with missing content or anything like that. The problem is the way the game is laid out right now, and especially after Odyssey. It is becoming extremely difficult to be a player-driven Anarchy faction. It's actually extremely difficult to be any Anarchy faction in Elite. And you might think, why would you care about Anarchy factions? Well, you might know that the main source of a lot of people's materials for upgrading your suits and your weapons is to go to Anarchy systems. This also goes to you want to farm materials for your for unlocking your engineers. The main place where you get these materials is from Anarchy settlements. Why do you go to Anarchy settlements? Well, obviously because you go and you can shoot the people there without taking in a bounty, without getting notoriety. But the problem is, with everybody farming materials at the Anarchy settlements, the Anarchy factions have so much negative BGS work done against them, unintentional negative work. People are just there for farming materials. They're not there to alter the BGS, but they are inadvertently doing so by farming the settlements. And I've been guilty of this until I realized how big of a problem this actually is. As it stands right now, about 2.4% of populated systems are currently Anarchy. And that used to be, before Odyssey, hovering in the 4 to 5% area. That means that we have almost lost half of all Anarchy systems in Elite. And if this continues in this fashion, it's going to be a matter of months, most likely before console launch, that we're just going to be outright out of Anarchy systems. And this is a huge issue, as I said. Not only is this a big bummer for the people actually playing as Anarchy factions, the guys who want to roleplay that and be taking part in the BGS process for Anarchy systems, but for everybody else, and especially when it comes out on console. Now, if you thought the grind was hard for us to have been played it on PC, you ain't seen nothing yet. If Anarchy systems disappear, it is going to be insanely hard to get anything done when it comes to upgrading suits, unless you're willing to take a bounty or get notoriety. I've been testing out that method. It is very valid to just go and say, I don't care. I'm just going to kill everything that moves. I'm going to take the bounty. I'm going to take the notoriety. As we speak right now, as I'm recording this, my character is sitting in a station, in a ship, burning off my 10 points of notoriety that I've gotten over the last couple of days because I've been farming materials and I wanted to try and avoid the Anarchy system just to see if it was feasible. And it is. I just can't get rid of my bounty now before I spend 20 hours AFK in game to burn off my notoriety. Then I can go to Interstellar Factor and burn it off. It's not a good solution. But it's not just people farming Odyssey. There are other mechanics in the game that's kind of stacked against Anarchy factions. So this is a more complex topic than just moving people away. But this is one of the things that has pushed Anarchy factions to the brink of extinction. And I don't know the numbers for sure, but it seems that a lot of the Anarchy player factions have just outright given up. And the people that are still there have seen their systems just dwindle, and stuff they used years to build are just completely lost within months because they just suddenly have like thousands of players going into their systems and shooting their people over and over, relogging, shooting, and there's no way you can fight against that. Now, in terms of solutions for this, I don't see an easy one. This is going to be a tough one, and the problem is, if you need to drive people away from the Anarchy faction, the Anarchy settlements, there needs to be another source of materials that is equally as good and convenient, if not better. And I don't see where that should come from at this point in time. Maybe that could be a uninhabited settlement, permanent settlement, a bit like Death's Hope kind of thing, but just in Odyssey. Maybe those exist, we just haven't found them yet. I don't know. But a short-term solution could be to buff materials output from missions, so you get more that way. That could be another way to generate some materials that could maybe make that a more viable option for gathering resources, rather than going and just killing Anarchy people over and over and over again. But this is a much more complicated topic than what I want to cover in a Hello Dave. I am considering if I should make a dedicated video on it, where we go into more detail and look at the problems and talk about potential ways that you could solve this. But for now, I just wanted to raise some awareness around it, let you guys know that if you are farming Anarchy settlements over and over again, something that I've done myself in the past, but just know that if you're doing so, we are working towards that situation where Anarchy factions are going to disappear from Elite altogether, which I see as a huge problem, especially because we have so many people on console who's going to come online in the hopefully not too distant future, and they're going to have a really hard time unlocking any engineers without going to Anarchy factions. Over the verse, in Star Citizen have a number of smaller news articles. First of all, there's a feature coming in 3.15 that I actually wasn't aware of. And it's not directly Star Citizen, it actually has to do with the Tobii Eye tracker. If you have a Tobii Eye tracker and you play Star Citizen, you can now in 3.15, you can go in and you can enable something called gaze-based targeting. And what is gaze-based targeting? That means that you can use where you look on the screen, which of course can be tracked by a Tobii Eye tracker, to selectively target enemy ships or objects around you. So that means if you hit the target button, normally your ship would target what is straight ahead of you, right under your reticle. But now, instead, you can move it over so it will actually target what you are looking at. So if I look at something out to the right side of the screen, well, then it will target that object out there. But if I then look over on the other side, left side, and I click target, it will move over to that target. That's super convenient, and I've been playing around with it today. It works surprisingly well. So if you haven't, I actually have a video coming out the day after tomorrow on Wednesday about it, where I showcase it. So if you're interested, do stay tuned to the channel for that. And of course, if you're interested in Tobii Eye Tracker, there's a link in the description for that as well. Also this week we are expecting that the Wave 2 or the 315 PTU test is gonna go live. So this is where we're gonna get more people online, not just Wave 1 with the subscribers, but we're gonna get the second wave online as well, so more people get a chance to go in and play around with 315. Now, we haven't had any official statements saying that it should be this week. It's just based on assumptions on how long these different waves have lasted in the past. We're expecting it to be this week, but I haven't seen anything like certain that it's going to be this week, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we are going to see 315 Wave 2 go live this week. I also want to do a quick public service announcement, and that is that right now, and this has actually been going on for a while, there has been a lot of issues with bots on Discord claiming either they will send that you could get Nitro for free, or they will message you and say that they have accidentally reported your account on Steam, and you have to go to a certain link in order to not have your account banned, and at which point your Steam account is going to be compromised. Now, in the past, me and the mod team has been working really hard on setting up safeguards on the community Discord server to prevent bots from, first of all, joining the server, but they can't even see the member lists of people on the server, so they can't just begin to DM people from a member list. But the problem is a lot of these accounts where this happens from is compromised accounts where people have lost access to their account, or they have had their password leaked or something like that. So the people, they log in with the credentials and they use the servers that they're already on to get access to new people they can DM with these scams, and then they just grow their repository of accounts. So if you get any messages about your account on Steam that has been reported, just block the person and report them to a moderator on the server where they're coming from. You can look at their profile and see what servers you have in common. Do report them to Discord as well. Also, I would strongly recommend that you go into Discord and you enable two-factor authentication. This is your main way to protect yourself against these kind of things. So if you haven't done that already, go in, enable two-factor authentication on Discord to protect yourself against this so you don't lose access to your account. And then finally, the live stream tomorrow, it will be Elite. And I've been working on upgrading the weapons for my Maverick suit, for my salvaging build to go send, for scavenging bases. And I think I've ended up going for like a gunslinger type build where we're going to be working on some faster handling and faster reload kind of weapons, so you can really just swap around between your weapons quickly. Because I want to try and speed up the process of attacking bases. So I wanted to try and get some more speed out of that sniper rifle, more specifically, because it is really a big lumbering weapon to carry around. So I'm going to try to do a fast gunslinger type build here. We'll see how it works. I just finished collecting all the materials for it, so tomorrow's going to be engineering both the sniper as well as the pistol. And then we're going to take it out for a spin, see how it works, and hopefully it's going to yield some nice results. But that's all going to be tomorrow as usual. It will be at 7 o'clock in-game time, and it will be live streamed on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Hope I'll see you there. That's been it for this week. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.